Welcome back to the Real Men of Real Estate here on KCAA Radio. You can find us at 102.3 FM, 106.5 FM, or 1050 AM on your dial. So thanks so much for tuning in. My name is Dan Redig, and I'm here with Spencer Rysman, and just talking about his journey into real estate here. So really fascinating in that last segment to hear how you got to real estate through someone pushing stocks who doesn't like real estate. That's a pretty fantastic story, Spencer.
Yeah, it's funny how that kind of works out sometimes, but
It is, yeah.
I don't
So,
know. I think that's human nature, right? As soon as somebody says don't do it, you're like,
right.
oh yeah, why?
Is the stove hot? Well, let's find out, right?
Yeah, it's hot.
Well,
It
yeah, right.
is.
I have no fingerprints and the stove is hot. Well, so you're in it now, you're doing it. I know you've got your first property in Indiana a couple of years ago. Um, how's that one going?
Um, meh. Well, so the stove is hot. It caught on
Uh-oh.
fire.
Oh, that's the one that
Yeah,
caught on fire? Oh
that was
no,
my first one. Um, so yeah, this was all, oh man, 2020.
boy, that's a year to
Eventful
remember, huh?
year, eventful year, obviously. So we had sold our condo, um, made money off of it, actually to a realtor who was like well known in our neighborhood, um, and sold it to him. Was able to take profit from that. Got our roommate to move with us, and
Wow.
bought a house right at the beginning of the pandemic, which was nice to have a house and not a condo.
Oh man,
But
yeah.
but still just like after all this research, like learning to like leverage financing
Hmm.
as much as possible. So still put like the minimum, like 5% down on this new house. And then took just what was left over from the condo sale and I bought a triplex in Indiana. So that was like my first like rental property. And this was already after like, I don't know, probably like 2 years of reading books, listening to podcasts and all that, right? So this
Right.
wasn't just like I heard about this and jumped in. Like, no, we're talking like 2 years later now. So like I get like some people it takes them a while. Some people do just jump right in and good for them. But for me it was a couple years. And that triplex, kind of like a lower class of building and
Okay.
tenants, I would say. The plan was always to like hopefully, fix it up and make it nicer and all that.
Okay.
But yeah, like to the fire story,
Yeah,
last
let's dive
fall,
right in.
yeah, sure. So like last fall, I got a just like a text saying like, "Hey, are you the owner of such and such property?" And it's like late. My wife's like, "Don't answer that. It's a scam. Don't respond to that
That's
person."
what
I'm
I
like,
would have
"I don't
thought for
know." Like
sure.
she's like, "How would they know?" I was like, "These are public records. Like
Yep.
people can find this information." But anyway, so yeah, it turns out it caught on fire. Nobody was injured, but the
Oh,
building
thankfully,
did.
man.
Yeah, everybody was fine. And I have property management in place. Like that's one thing I think with out of state investing. Like, yeah, it stings to like pay them every
Yeah.
month, and they're like,
They're
you
what,
know,
10% of the rent?
they are 10%, and then they also like add 10% on any like work that's done on the
Oh,
house that
they
they
do one of
manage.
those, yeah. Hmm.
It stings, but at the same time, you get in a situation like this where it's like, that's not me there. Like I'm laying in bed just like texting my property manager, right? Like she's the one that's there, and there it's like late there. It's like 1 a.m. She's the one that's
Wow.
there, and it's like,
Money well spent all of a sudden.
yeah, really though, really.
Wow.
Um, and so everybody was fine. The fire really wasn't that bad. It has been an absolute nightmare because they're still working on this house.
That was last fall, right?
That was last fall.
Wow. What happened?
Um, like with the fire, or why isn't it
Yeah.
done?
Yeah. What's the holdup?
I think it was like just an electrical fire, it sounded like, but it's just poor management, I guess, and just like, people talk about like finding good contractors is hard to,
Yes,
everybody
I can
talks about that,
attest to
right?
that. Yeah, I can attest to that.
The insurance company offered to like hire they're like, do you want us to find somebody to fix this, or do you want to use your own contractor? It's like, you guys deal with it. I know what it's like trying to find contractors. And they hired like a big reputable company, but for whatever reason, they're just not living up to their reputation.
Oh, wow.
And it's just, one of those things, I guess. Once they start opening up walls and stuff, they find all kinds of stuff in this old house, but
Oh, right.
insurance doesn't cover those sorts of things. They
Oh,
cover the
man.
fire damage. So it's just kind of been one thing after another. And coincidentally, though, like right when this fire happened, I was entering escrow on a second rental property in Indiana.
Okay, so that's number two.
So I had
All
this like,
right.
oh crap moment though, because I'm
Yeah,
like, I don't really know what's going to happen with this fire stuff. Like we're just
right.
starting to like talk to the insurance company, but
How
I
much
got
money
this
do you need and all this other stuff
deal
for the fire? Yeah.
like I've already got earnest money down on this. Like, do I back out because I don't know where this is going, or do I just plow through and hope it's all okay?
Wow,
So
that's intense.
yeah,
Holy
it
cow.
was it
Any,
was
any sleepless
scary.
nights out of that one?
No, I sleep pretty good all the time.
Okay. Good
uh
for you.
Plenty of
Gosh.
stressful long days though. But yeah, lots of stress. But so anyway, I went through with the other deal still. um the crew that I got on that, they were able to fix up that house and it's already rented and that thing's going already, but
Nice.
uh
All
still
right.
working on that triplex, I guess.
Dang.
Yeah.
Did you own one unit in the triplex or the whole triplex?
Oh, I own the whole building.
Okay, that's what I
Yeah.
thought. Okay.
It's like an old like historic house. Actually, so that's like part of like
That
why it
sounds like
takes
trouble
long
right
is
there. Oh no.
part like it's like governed by like the historic society or
Uh,
whatever in Fort Wayne. So there's like, once people start coming over to inspect it, then everybody's got something to say about what's not right about it.
oh
It's
no.
not just like fixing the fire damage. Now everybody's like, oh, this needs to be brought up to code, but you
Oh
can't do
yeah.
it that way because it's not historical or
Oh
whatever.
man.
So
That's
so
rough. That sounds hard.
it's hard. And it's hard, I think, more just like trying to like constantly answer the question like of like, am I doing this right? Like I think that's the biggest thing. Like it's all a mental thing, right? Like I'm here in California, like it's nice here. Like my pipes don't freeze. The pipes froze on the triplex, right? Because somebody didn't drain the lines. My pipes don't freeze here. It's
Right.
beautiful here. But like it's that mental game of like trying to communicate with people, across the country and like manage this whole thing. Like I haven't picked up a hammer. Like,
Hmm.
but
In
it's
some
it's
ways, the
still
manual labor
really
would have been
difficult.
easier.
Yeah, I think so because then like you'd feel like you have more control over it. And I think that's been the hardest thing for me about like out of state investing is just like I am sort of like I, I like to keep like control over things anyways. I don't want to say
Okay.
like I'm a controlling person. That doesn't sound good, but I guess if you want to say it, like I wouldn't argue. Um, so it's like it's that like not being able to keep as much control over it as I would like. Like that's the most difficult part of all this. And like people not like living up to the expectations, right? Because the way I see it is I have this money, I give it to you, and then you do what we agreed on, right?
Right.
But it's not always that
Sounds
simple.
simple.
I give
Yeah.
you the money and then you don't show up, and then that's very frustrating. And then I feel like, it's like, what am I supposed to do then? Like, how do I not lose on this? And the fact is, like, sometimes you just lose, right?
Right.
And
Yeah.
it's difficult to explain that to people. Like when my realtor, who's also like, he helps me with like my real estate investing stuff because he's very like hands-on realtor. He's also my cousin in Indiana.
Oh,
When he
that's a
asked me
great
like, what's
resource
going
then.
on with your house? Why isn't it fixed yet? And like, all I can be like is, dude, I don't want to get into it right now. Like, I don't want to
Right.
explain to you all the stuff that's going wrong with this right now. You know, or like even like a family, like when my mother or my sister is like, hey, like, what's up with your house? Is it fixed yet? And it's just like, you know, it's like that feeling of like putting your head down and be like, no, it's not fixed yet. Like, am I
Yeah.
screwing
Yeah.
up? Like, am I doing something wrong?
Doesn't
So
sound
I
like
think
it. It sounds like you're just running
it
into
may,
trouble.
sure, but maybe I am, maybe I'm not, you know, like it's a, like, you know, I've listened to a lot of people talk about like taking ownership and accountability and all that. So
Yeah.
it's like that's
Same.
I want to, but at the same time, like I get annoyed with these people that aren't doing their
Sure.
jobs, right? So
And what do you
uh
do if you take like the Jocko Williams approach, right? Of complete,
exactly.
utter, total ownership, all
Yes.
other things be damned. It's like, what's possible then, or can I handle it? It's a lot.
Right. And hearing him say it, it gets you empty. You're like, yeah, yeah, I'm gonna take ownership. And then something like this happens, and you're like, these guys suck. So it's tough. It's that own like internal struggle, I think, of saying, like, am I supposed to be taking ownership of this? Am I supposed to be blamed, like holding somebody else accountable? Because like, you
Which
know,
is still taking ownership. You're still doing what you're supposed to do.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a tough set of circumstances, man. Wow.
Yeah, but I think so that's like it's thrown me into these situations of you know, I don't think I have the answer yet. It'll probably be a few more months when I can kind of look at it more
Right.
retrospectively.
And
And then,
you've got the experience to know. Yeah.
yeah,
I think that's the key though. You jumped and did something, and now
yeah,
you're making it happen, learning the lessons.
right.
That's pretty
Yeah,
cool. Well, we've got to take a break. Um, Thanks so much for sharing that. That's really incredible part of your story. I didn't know anything about that. So
yeah.
thanks for that. On KCAA Radio, this is the Real Men of Real Estate, and we'll be right back.